Okay, I want you to just picture this for a second. It's kind of ridiculous, right? You're doing everything right, or so you think. Trying your absolute best to be healthy.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the giant water bottle, you're chugging water like it's your job, feeling super virtuous.
Yeah, ticking the box.
Exactly. And then, plot twist, you find out you've been doing such a good job hydrating that you've actually made yourself, well, more dehydrated.
It really is the ultimate health own goal, isn't it? You
Yeah.
follow the rule everyone tells you, only to find out the rule might be, well, fundamentally flawed, maybe designed by someone who missed a biology class or two.
Seriously. So today we're doing a bit of a shortcut. We're diving into this collection of, honestly, pretty counterintuitive health tips.
Yeah.
Stuff learned the hard way, you know, through years of trial and definitely error.
Mm-hmm. The mission here is basically to save you, the learner, from going down those same frustrating rabbit holes, years of mistakes skipped.
We're trying to cut through all that diet culture noise and just focus on what your body is actually trying to tell you.
Exactly. And we should probably start with a tip that's like offensively obvious.
Yeah.
So obvious that anyone who snacks out of boredom might feel a little called out.
Okay, lay it on us. Anti-diet rule number 1, what is it?
Only eat when you are genuinely physically hungry.
Mm.
And maybe even more importantly, if you are not hungry, do not eat. Full stop.
That sounds incredibly simple, like maybe too simple. Something my grandma would say, not really deep dive material.
Right.
But then I actually think about my day. I eat because it's lunchtime on the clock, or I'm bored stiff, or, someone leaves free donuts in the kitchen.
That's it, exactly. We mix up habit and emotions and just looking at the clock with real physiological hunger signals.
Mm-hmm.
If you could just pause, actually wait for that real signal, you'd probably cut out half the less than ideal food choices right there.
Yeah.
Your health would start to shift, like almost immediately.
All right, let's dig into that hydration paradox then, because the idea that drinking too much water or liquids is bad for you, that really flies in the face of everything we've been told for decades.
It does. And it stems from, I think, a basic misunderstanding of what hydration actually is on a cellular level. If you're just constantly drinking, you're effectively diluting your body's essential electrolytes, especially sodium.
So, like, if my body is a bowl of soup, I'm just pouring in plain water until it's bland and watery, washing out all the good stuff.
That's actually a perfect way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you water down the very things, the electrolytes, that help your cells hold onto the water in the first place.
Uh-huh.
You flush out the sodium, which is critical for cells to actually absorb the water properly. And the irony, you end up in the state of hyperdilution, which feels like or even causes dehydration symptoms.
Wow. Okay, so what's fascinating then are the fixes suggested here. They're a bit quirky.
A little bit, yeah.
Instead of just plain water overload, the idea is to try 1, carbonated water, and 2, using naturally decaffeinated tea bags in your water.
The tea bags are interesting. The thinking is you're adding phytonutrients. These compounds seem to help the body sort of utilize and hold on to the liquid more effectively.
Ah, I see.
So you feel better hydrated, but maybe on less actual volume. It's about quality over just sheer quantity.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. And now for the tip that sounds like it was borrowed from, I don't know, an old-timey sun worshiper's manual. Structured water,
Right.
we're told. Gallon glass jar, fill with water, toss in a couple of tea bags, and just leave it out in the sun for an hour or two. What on earth is the sun doing?
It definitely sounds a bit like alchemy, doesn't it?
It really does.
But the claim is that the infrared light from the sun actually changes the water's physical structure. It supposedly creates this hexagonal structure, they call it structured water,
Yeah.
that the body recognizes and absorbs much more easily than, say, regular tap water.
Huh.
It's unconventional, for sure, but it kind of highlights how far people will go when the standard advice, just drink more water, isn't actually working for them.
So, zooming out then, the overall strategy for someone listening who's just totally confused, drowning in keto this, paleo that, all the diet advice is basically stop listening.
Pretty much. Stop asking what the latest guru says you should do. Try one approach, see how you feel, like really pay attention. Do you have more energy? Sleeping better.
Right.
Thinking clearer.
Right.
Then maybe try another approach. Your own experience, your body's feedback. That's the only thing that truly matters in the end.
Okay, so we talked about eating what you're hungry for, but now the when. Because the argument here is that the frequency of eating might be, well, almost more damaging than the actual food type sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. That's a huge point. Think about it. Evolutionarily, we weren't designed to be grazing animals eating every hour and a half.
Right. No ancient humans had snack drawers.
Exactly. Our bodies thrive on having downtime between meals. When you stretch out those eating windows, maybe with something like intermittent fasting, you unlock health benefits that go way beyond just managing weight.
And this is where it gets really cool, the stuff happening internally. It's not just about looks. It's like the body's own cleaning service kicks in.
Yeah, think of it as like a mandatory deep clean for your system. When no new food is coming in, your body gets busy. It starts recycling old, damaged proteins into fresh tissue.
Okay.
And it actively goes after pathogens, unwanted bacteria, viruses, mold, fungus. It's a process called autophagy, basically cellular spring cleaning.
Which leads right back to what you called the ultimate health villain earlier, snacking between meals. Why is that little habit so biologically disruptive?
Because every time you snack, especially on carby stuff, but even healthier things if it's constant, bam, insulin spike. Insulin's job is to store energy, mostly as fat, and it slams the brakes on that whole cleanup fat-burning process. Seriously, if you changed literally nothing else about your diet but just cut out the snacks between meals, you'd likely see a massive improvement in health because you finally let your body switch gears into that repair and burn mode.
So, if snacking is the insulin enemy, we need to be smarter label detectives. And the advice is, ignore the sugar line. Focus on total carbohydrates.
You absolutely have to. Manufacturers are sneaky. They hide sugars under other names within the total carb count. Things like starch, maltodextrin, even plain old flour. They all act like sugar in your body.
Hidden sugars.
Totally. So if you want to manage insulin, get those fasting benefits, you've got to keep that total carb number low. Like consistently under maybe 30 grams a day is a good target for many.
And here's a critical piece of advice for anyone getting blood tests. Demand a fasting insulin test, not just blood sugar.
Yes, this is so important. Your blood sugar could look perfectly fine for years, but if your fasting insulin level is creeping up, that's your body working overtime, screaming for help long before diabetes shows up.
How long before?
You could have high fasting insulin 10, 15, maybe even 20 years before a type 2 diabetes diagnosis. Catching it early gives you a huge window, like a decade or more, to make changes and potentially prevent it entirely. It's the ultimate early warning system, and it's baffling how often it gets missed.
Okay, let's shift gears to the building blocks, the nutrients. Vitamin D gets called out here as maybe the single most crucial one to check. The genetic controller, that sounds pretty major.
It really is. It's earned that title because vitamin D acts less like a typical vitamin and more like a hormone. It directly influences the expression of something like 10% of your entire genome. It's literally switching genetic pathways on and off. So yeah, if you're dealing with autoimmune issues, chronic inflammation, chances are you need significant amounts, often like 10,000 to 20,000 IUs daily.
Whoa, hang on. 10 to 20,000 IUs. A lot of people have heard that kind of dose is risky. And then there's this other really specific, almost shocking recommendation, taking a huge dose of vitamin D before surgery. That sounds unconventional, to say the least. What's the thinking there?
Right. It sounds counterintuitive to the standard cautious advice. But the logic, according to these insights, is about proactive healing.
Okay.
The suggestion is a massive dose. We're talking 50,000 to even 100,000 IUs of D3, taken about 3 days before any scheduled surgery.
Wow.
The idea is this bolus dose dramatically primes your body's immune and repair systems. It's thought to significantly improve the surgical outcome, reduce infection risk, speed up healing. It's like a temporary high-impact insurance policy using D's potency strategically.
That's wild. And we definitely need to mention its role in maternal health too, right? Deficiency during pregnancy, not good.
Oh, critically important. It's linked to things like postpartum depression in the mother and various developmental issues or weaknesses in the child. It's absolutely fundamental.
Okay. So number 2 most important nutrient, magnesium, mainly because almost everyone is low on it.
That's the issue, yeah.
Yeah.
Deficiency is incredibly common. And magnesium has a couple of key jobs. It helps vitamin D actually work properly, and it acts as the main controller for calcium in the body.
So those annoying muscle cramps, like leg spasms at night, that might not be a calcium deficiency.
Often it's the opposite. It can be too much uncontrolled calcium floating around, making muscles seize up. Magnesium is like the body's natural muscle relaxant. It balances out calcium's contracting effect. It's the fix for that tightness and spasming.
Got it. Then number 3 is potassium. And the amount needed sounds huge, 4,700 milligrams every single day. How do you even get that much?
It is an enormous amount, which is precisely why most people are chronically deficient. It's tough to get from diet alone unless you're really focused.
And what does it do? Why so much?
Well, potassium is like a physiological tranquilizer. It calms the nervous system, helps lower blood pressure naturally. It's crucial for energy production, and it's a major electrolyte for heart health. You really need to focus on potassium-dense foods.
Okay, quick detour the supplement scam alert. We need to talk about multivitamins, the ones everyone buys.
Yes, it's kind of shocking, but
Yeah.
many of the best-selling big brand multivitamins, they often contain the absolute worst, cheapest forms of nutrients,
Like what?
like synthetic chemicals that barely resemble what's found in food. Vitamin C made from cornstarch and sulfuric acid, for example, not exactly nature's bounty.
Yikes.
So if you're going to spend money on supplements, especially for vulnerable groups like pregnant women or kids, you really need to look for high-quality, food-based options. Read those labels carefully.
And it ties into the soil issue, right? Modern farming practices, sterile soil, hydroponics,
Hmm.
meaning our food itself is lacking key minerals.
Exactly. The food might look fine, it grows, but it's nutritionally depleted. It's missing essential trace minerals, things like zinc, iodine, selenium, manganese, because they're just not in the soil anymore.
So a trace mineral supplement becomes necessary for almost everyone.
Pretty much, yeah. It's become a baseline need to compensate for what our food supply is lacking.
Okay, last nutrient point, quick energy boost, dealing with low blood sugar. The advice is straightforward. Red meat, grass-fed if possible.
Yep. It's one of the most nutrient-dense protein sources you can get. It provides sustained energy and helps stabilize blood sugar quickly. And it's not just the iron, it's the high-quality, complete protein package.
Let's talk about hidden damage. Things from the past affecting us now, like antibiotics. If someone has a history of taking them maybe years ago, could that still be causing issues today?
Absolutely, that's a big one. We kind of assume our gut microbiome bounces back fully, but the reality is many specific beneficial strains just don't return to their previous levels on their own after antibiotics.
Huh. So lingering problems might not be age or stress, but gut damage.
It's definitely a possibility worth considering. And the fix suggested here is pretty out there, making your own, like, personalized probiotic yogurt type mixture at home.
Personalized. Why not just buy a probiotic pill?
Because those store-bought ones usually have just a handful of common strains. If antibiotics wiped out, say, dozens or even hundreds of your unique beneficial microbes, you need a much more targeted approach.
I see.
It involves using specific starter cultures and carefully controlled fermentation to try and specifically cultivate those missing strains you personally need. It's definitely next-level gut restoration.
Okay. Switching to the fitness crowd, there's a warning here about overtraining. More isn't always better, right? It can actually backfire.
Oh, massively. Overtraining is a recipe for burnout and regression. It tanks your energy, prevents muscle gains, jacks up inflammation, and absolutely crushes hormones like testosterone.
Ouch.
People forget the actual muscle growth and strength gains. They happen during the recovery period, not during the workout itself. You have to give your body that time to rebuild. Less can definitely be more.
And what about when you slip up? You have that pizza night, eat way too many carbs. Is there damage control?
Yes, there's an immediate action suggested. Take vitamin B1, thiamine,
Why B1 specifically?
because processing a large load of carbohydrates rapidly depletes your body's vitamin B1 stores. And low B1 can manifest as anxiety, nervousness, stress.
The carb-induced jitters.
Exactly. And that stress often makes you crave more carbs, creating a vicious cycle. Taking B1 right after can help replenish what was lost, process the carbs better, and maybe short-circuit that stress response.
Good tip. Okay, a quick but important safety note on iron. The advice is be super careful with supplements.
Extremely careful. Unlike many nutrients, iron doesn't have an easy exit route from the body. It can build up to toxic levels if you supplement unnecessarily.
So who should take it?
Generally, only if you have documented blood loss, like heavy menstruation, and confirmed low iron levels via blood test. And even then, getting iron from food sources like beef liver or even liver tablets is usually much better tolerated and utilized than typical synthetic iron pills.
Got it. Okay, final specific tip. This one's for folks maybe over 50 noticing changes in their body shape, like extra flab or cellulite on the arms or legs.
Yeah.
The point made is that might not actually be fat gain.
Right. It could very well be age-related muscle atrophy, muscle loss, masquerading as fat gain.
So dieting harder won't fix it.
Nope. If it's muscle loss, restricting calories won't help. It might even make it worse. The real key, the prevention and solution, is consistent resistance training, actual weightlifting, combined with adequate magnesium, which helps muscle function. You have to actively maintain or rebuild that muscle tissue.
Wow, okay. We've covered a ton of ground, lots of conventional wisdom turned on its head. But we absolutely have to end with what might be the most urgent, maybe even alarming tip of all, especially relevant if you live in a city.
This one's serious.
The advice is invest immediately in a really good water filter.
It's moved from a nice-to-have to basically non-negotiable. City water supplies are increasingly showing contamination with PFAS, these forever chemicals.
Whoever chemicals.
Yeah, they don't break down easily in the environment or the body. The sources mentioned testing where tap water, even after going through standard filters, still had one specific chemical at something like 78,000 times the recommended safe level.
78,000 times. That's terrifying.
It really is. It underscores that you just cannot implicitly trust tap water quality anymore. Effective filtration isn't paranoia. It's becoming a fundamental health necessity.
So I guess the big theme weaving through all this is about reclaiming control, isn't it? Questioning the obvious, learning from others' mistakes.
Yeah.
Stop the constant drinking unless thirsty. Exercise smarter, not just harder. Pay fierce attention to when you eat, not just what. It really does flip the script on standard health advice.
It makes you wonder, doesn't it? If the water we rely on is potentially compromised and the healthy food we eat is grown in nutrient-depleted soil, how many of our most basic, ingrained daily habits might actually be subtly working against us, sabotaging the very systems we need to thrive? Maybe it really is time we started listening more closely to those internal signals, especially that quiet one that says, you know what, I'm actually not hungry right now.